Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox 922 on the East Coast and 622 on the West Coast. The U.S. sending warships and aircraft to keep an eye on a convoy of Russian vessels over in the Caribbean Sea. Those ships are not too far from the Florida coast where they were spotted, and they appear to have now reached Cuban waters. Russian soldiers aboard one stood in military formation as they did approach the island. U.S. officials have said they expect the Russian ships will remain in that region through the summer. Do want to bring in Rebecca Grant, a senior fellow at the Lexington Institute, to talk a little bit more about all of this here. As always, Rebecca, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Oh, I'm glad to be here and talk about Putin's latest actions.
And first off, a lot of folks over the last, I would say, 24 hours are kind of getting bits and pieces of what's going on here. So can you break it down for us overall, this situation there in the Caribbean?
Yes, with so much else going on in the G7 in Europe, but Russia has sent a tiny little task force of 4 ships across the Atlantic and down to Cuba. Now, the ship you really want to watch is the guided missile submarine that's included in that group. And guarantee you our Navy tracked the whole transit across the Atlantic. So we have a real close eye on Putin's Russian Navy ships.
What kind of Russian warships are we talking about? You went into a little detail there, but do we know overall their capabilities?
Yes, it looks like there are 4. One is a frigate, that's a surface vessel, also a guided missile submarine, and along with them, reportedly, an oiler for fuel and a rescue tug, I guess in case they get into some kind of trouble. But it's really the frigate and the submarine that Putin is using to show off. The submarine is reportedly able to carry a type of hypersonic missile that flies in an evasive pattern. And so he's showing that in a threatening way. And there are reports that the frigate may carry a different hypersonic missile as well. So this is Putin who's responding to NATO exercises, to the use of HIMARS in Ukraine, to all these things, responding by trying to show off some Russian naval power. And you know, Josh, the Russian Navy is afraid to sail very far in the Black Sea because so many of their ships have been lost there. But hey, they're still happy to come and stir up trouble around Cuba.
And I have to ask overall, why Cuba?
Because of the long-standing old Cold War relationship and because Cuba is so close to the United States that it freaks out the Americans to see Russian naval forces there. And understandably, we're not used to having capable enemy forces very close to our shores. So he's touching history, but also trying to show that Russia is still at least a little bit of a military superpower.